Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. More provocation from North Korea. The country's military fired another ballistic missile Thursday, this one traveling over Japan into the northern Pacific Ocean. CBN's Jenna Browder has the story now from Washington.
It is the second North Korean missile to fly over Japan in the past month, an act of defiance from Kim Jong-un and a major technological advance for his regime. In Japan, alarms blared Friday, warning people to take cover.
So I woke up this morning with a really loud noise on my phone. Find shelter in a basement. North Korea just launched a missile.
This was North Korea's longest ever test flight of a ballistic missile, the weapon traveling some 2,300 miles into the northern Pacific Ocean. And an important point, Guam, a hub of important U.S. military assets, is within that range, only about 2,100 miles from North Korea. Speaking aboard Air Force One, President Trump said he is working with the Chinese on pressuring the North Korean dictatorship and wanted to reassure Americans.
But believe me, the people of this country will be very, very safe.
The launch comes less than 2 weeks after North Korea's sixth and most powerful nuclear test of a hydrogen bomb, and after the United Nations voted Monday for new sanctions against the country, banning its exports of natural gas and textiles. The Pentagon says initial assessments suggest this was an intermediate missile, not an intercontinental missile which could reach the U.S. Still, the move seems to confirm what many experts have long feared. North Korea is closer than ever to its goal of building a military arsenal that can target our forces in both Asia and the U.S. mainland itself. In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
United Kingdom investigators believe Iran could be the driver behind North Korea's advance in its nuclear weapons program. CBN's national security correspondent Eric Rosales takes a closer look at this potential and uncovers details about a new effort to potentially put an end to this.
British officials fear North Korea's sudden progress in nuclear development might be due to secret support from Iran. The Foreign Office is looking into whether current and former states helped Kim Jong-un mount nuclear warheads on missiles. British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson confirmed the suspicion to Parliament, saying there is certainly an investigation into exactly how the country has managed to make this leap in technological ability. While Iran tops a list of countries possibly giving assistance, Russia is also in the spotlight. Ricky Ellison of the Missile Defense Advocacy Alliance warns that China should be considered as well.
Peking, the capital of China, is very, very close to Korea. So all those nuclear weapons, 20 to 30 with ballistic missiles, can strike Peking. They don't seem to be too concerned at all about that.
Meanwhile, the international community is taking a different approach. The UN Security Council unanimously approved tougher sanctions capping North Korea's oil imports and banning textile exports. That's a key source of revenue, which according to several sources, accounted for more than $700 million of North Korea's exports last year, about 26% of total exports, nearly all of which went to China. The U.S. estimates the sanctions could take $1.3 billion in annual revenue away from the rogue nation.
We are done trying to prod the regime to do the right thing. We are now acting to stop it from having the ability to continue doing the wrong thing.
But will these sanctions be enough? Some say we need to completely cut out North Korea from the map of geopolitics.
That means you're going to have to go to China. You're going to have to tell the Chinese that they can't money launder anything for North Korea anymore. And that means Trump is going to have to warn the banks of China and others that are helping them.
If those extremes don't work, CBN News confirmed with Pentagon sources that South Korea is forming its own hit squad to potentially eliminate North Korean leadership. Plans are underway to establish a special forces or decapitation unit by the end of the year, the South Korean defense minister told lawmakers in Seoul. In preparation, the military is preparing helicopters and even transport planes to penetrate North Korea at night so that forces known as the Spartan 3000 can carry out raids. Rarely does a company announce a strategy to assassinate a head of state, but South Korea says it wants to put the pressure on North Korea and warn them of the consequences if they continue to develop their missile arsenal. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Washington.
London police are investigating what they believe is a terrorist attack. 18 people are in the hospital after an explosion went off in the Parsons Green Underground train station in West London, setting one train on fire. Photos taken inside the train show a white plastic bucket inside a foil-lined shopping bag with wires sticking out. Passengers reported seeing people with burns to their faces and bodies scrambling to escape the area. The ambulance services says that none of the injuries, though, are thought to be life-threatening. Joining me right now from South Green Underground Station in London is CBN contributor Peter Wooding. So, Peter, set the stage. What are you seeing?
So you can see police behind me. The area is cordoned off. I'm about 100 yards from Parsons Green Station. The attack took place about 3.5 hours ago, and already I'm surrounded by the world's media. You may hear helicopters flying overhead, and it's a very tense atmosphere. We're still reeling from the London Bridge attacks a few months ago, so this is the third attack this year that we've seen. Fortunately, like you say, there are no casualties. 18 have been taken to hospital, and it was a plastic white container that exploded just as it was pulling into Parsons Green Station. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has called for peace, for people to carry on with their normal things they would do in London and not to be intimidated. And in about the next half an hour, Prime Minister Theresa May will call an emergency COBRA meeting.
Set the scene for people in terms of the time of day there and what kind of activity was happening in this area.
It's 12:20 in the afternoon here, and the attack took place 4 hours ago, 8:20, right in the middle of rush hour, which I'm sure if it was a terrorist attack, that was what they intended.
It seems that the police have been able to rather quickly declare this a terrorist attack. Any indications as to why they've been able to do that so quickly?
No, we're not sure yet, just waiting to hear, but that was the official announcement from Scotland Yard just in the last few hours.
All right, Peter Wooding reporting for us in London. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Sandwiches, praise, and reassurance. President Trump and the First Lady traveled to Florida Thursday to survey damage caused by Hurricane Irma. The president brought Naples residents encouragement and served up meals while hearing about their hardship. At the same time, CBN's Operation Blessing is in Naples, bringing much-needed help to people who are living through this crisis. Our Gary Lane is there as well with this story.
In Fort Myers, the president praised government responders who acted selflessly to save lives in the hurricane.
People thought thousands and thousands of people may have their lives ended, and the number is a very small number, which is a great tribute to you.
Then in Naples, the president and first lady received a warm greeting and cheers as they arrived at a state's mobile home park. They looked over the damage and listened to residents tell their stories about what happened during the storm. Then the president and first lady served up hoagie sandwiches for lunch.
Let's make America great again.
Come here. God bless you, sir. God bless Don't forget to take it.
I got that. Okay, thank you, sir. Great job.
You're wearing a good shirt. Thank you.
The president offered words of assurance that America won't forget Florida.
I just want to tell you, we are there for you 100%. I'll be back here numerous times. I mean, this is a state that I know very well, as you understand, and these are special, special people, and we love them. Thank you.
Floridians were encouraged to see President Trump serving up meals to the people of Naples. But perhaps more encouraging was to know that CBN's Operation Blessing was on the ground here in Florida long before Irma arrived.
Before Irma threatened Florida, OB Stage Supplies had its distribution warehouse in Ocala. As the hurricane's track became more certain, trucks were loaded and readied. Evacuees got help at school shelters. Partnering with local churches, OB has already delivered water, food, and other supplies to 10 of Florida's hardest-hit cities. In Naples Thursday, a team of volunteers unloaded an OB truck filled with items like food and water, ready for distribution to those who need them. Jody Geddes is Operation Blessing Vice President for U.S. Disaster Relief.
Naples is known as one of the wealthiest cities in America, but it also represents some of the poorest populations in America, so it's very diverse. Today we're at Destiny Church with Pastor Greg, and we're delivering thousands of pounds of product, emergency food, water supplies, even heater meals that people can heat up.
Geddes explains the ready-to-eat meals are cooked without electricity.
These are complete kits, spaghetti and meatballs. It looks like a TV dinner you would get at the grocery store, but what is unique about this is that it has the water that you need to pour onto the heating pad to activate it, and then what you do is you slip it inside of these boxes and that becomes an oven.
Pastor Greg Ball told us how residents reacted when they also received another hard-to-get item, bottled water.
We went down the street just handing water to people. They were crying, hugging us, trying to pay us. We're like, this is not about money. This is meeting the needs of the community. And that's what the body of Christ is all about.
A donation from Aloha Church of Kauai, Hawaii made the Naples distribution possible. Pastor Ball says it's important for people to demonstrate care and concern for others in need.
To be able to help take care of people, that's what we're all about in the body of Christ, and we're so grateful to Operation Blessing and the 700 Club for all that they're doing. They're on the ground, and God is doing big things, and we're so blessed to be partnering with you to see all that God's going to do.
Gary Lane, CBN News, Jacksonville, Florida.
Still ahead, here on CBN NewsWatch, people in Mexico working to recover after a massive earthquake. So Operation Blessing is helping with the recovery efforts there. I want to turn now to southern Mexico, where cleanup is slow going after last week's massive earthquake. At least 96 people died and tens of thousands of people are still without homes. In the midst of the suffering, CBN's disaster relief is bringing solace in the form of food, water, and spiritual care. Charlene Aaron is on this story.
Walking down the streets of Chicapa de Castro requires a lot of imagination. That's the only way to picture how this little town looked before the 8.2 earthquake destroyed so many homes. It is not hard to imagine Vicenta's fate if she had not left her bed immediately when the quake struck.
I was sleeping when I felt the earthquake, and I ran out of the house as quick as I could. We heard a noise, and when I came back in, I saw the rocks had broken my bed. I could be dead now.
Walking down the streets, you also hear many requests for help.
I'm looking for water to drink because the wells are empty and we are sick, but we have not found yet.
Often, those requests turn into despair.
We are sad. We need help. The children don't have food. We have nothing. We are sleeping under a tree.
Nicholas has not lost faith that he will find food.
We left home at 7 to look for some food for our children, but we have not found anything yet. We will keep looking.
They showed CBN Mexico disaster relief teams where they spent the night after they fled their home. At first sight, their home does not look damaged. But look again. It is easy to understand why they don't want to go in. They're waiting for government aid to rebuild their home. But in the meantime, there are more immediate needs.
We all have problems to find food because there is no job. Everything is paralyzed.
But thanks to CBN partners, we came to this community to install a soup kitchen. With the help of volunteers, we started preparing hot meals for the victims of the earthquake that immediately made a line. Of course, Nicholas, Arcelia, and their children came too.
I'm very thankful for this food that came right on time for my children.
For them, CBN partners gave more than food, but spiritual comfort as well.
They also feel my sadness. Thank you so much. I have no words to express my gratitude.
And the long, hard work of recovery has just begun. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Still ahead here on CBN NewsWatch, your first look at Disney's Descendants 2. Is it a family-friendly film? We've got the answer coming up. And welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Lots of positive films with faith-based themes are heading to the box office. and one organization is helping to make that happen. Joining me now to explain is Movie Guide's Dr. Ted Baer and his daughter, Evie Baer Carroll. Thank you both for being here. I can say this, 2 bears are better than 1. Good to see you.
This is great. It's great to be with you.
Thank you. Well, tell me about the Kairos Prize screenwriting competition and how does that work?
Well, the Kairos Prize competition not only offers a cash prize, which is very significant and has been doing so now, this will be the 12th year, but it also allows the studio executives to read the top 10, and then the ones that are not read as finalists by the executives are sent to the executives who request them afterwards. People that you wouldn't even expect for years have been giving notes about these scripts, like Jeffrey Katzenberg. And so the good news is that, well, I'll put this in context. The average movie, according to the LA Times, takes 13 years. We haven't been around that long for the Kairos Prize. We have for Movie Guide. But we see movie after movie coming out this summer that was one of the finalists. For instance, All Saints came out, and it was number 4, and one of the readers was the person who picked it up at the studio. And throughout the years, Oprah and other people have picked it up. But then we had Mully this year, one of the former executive vice presidents of Fox, got involved with that because of Grazia, which Evie can talk about. But it's one after another. I mean, every day I'm getting a notice that one of these movies is being produced, sometimes with Curry Rules and sometimes with great stars. It's quite incredible, and I'm very grateful that we can help people. So we help people by giving them a cash prize, and we help people by having studio heads who would not accept your scripts unless you went through some big name agent read these scripts.
Understood. So helping to jumpstart the process. Evie, you wanted to talk about one film.
Well, this weekend is the movie Because of Gracia, if I'm saying that right. So that movie is one of the ones that won our prize and got greenlit from that. And that's a great movie. It's a great movie for teenagers. It's kind of a great age group to kind of pinpoint in the Christian faith world, because we don't really, address teenagers a lot. I think our content is usually, for adults or for children. And so it's a lot of themes there for teenagers to talk about that they're dealing with in their high schools, their public or private high schools. And it's a wonderful movie. But it is a cool prize, this Kairos Prize. And this year was specifically, a lot of the movies are coming out from it.
That's beautiful. Good to see. Nice to see something for teens, me being the father of a teenager. Before I let you go, how can people enter or learn more about this project?
Well, go to movieguide.org and you can find out about the Kairos Prize. And if not, you can go to info@movieguide.org. Listen, we want people to send in their scripts. I want you to send in your script right now, or at least your son, so he's a teenager.
I love it.
Write a script. We'll teach you how to write a script. We want more Christians in Hollywood, but less Hollywood in the Christians.
I like that. Well, Ted Baer and Evie Baer Carroll, thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you right back here next week.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, the weekend is here, and it is now time to turn into Plugged In Online for an entertainment review of this week's What's New at the Box Office. We're looking at Disney's Descendants 2.
Family-friendly movies are in short supply this week at the movie house, so we're taking a look at a Disney made-for-TV movie that's got a number of people talking.
How does it feel to be the most envied girl in Oregon?
Descendants 2, which is also now out on video, focuses in on a make-believe world of Oregon, a land populated by the descendants of all the Disney heroes and villains of the past, at least the good ones. The bad ones, well, those progeny are sent off to a place called the Isle of the Lost.
It turned her back on evil.
We should not be getting our leftovers. Of course, that setup isn't as cut and dried as it sounds. For instance, Mal, the formerly wicked but now reformed daughter of Maleficent, has struggled as of late. She's been established as Oregon's future queen-in-waiting. But what if she can't make it past her Isle of the Lost heritage? What if she's not really the Disney princess everyone else says she should be?
This isn't the Isle of the Lost, Mal.
Believe me, I know that. I don't belong here.
Mal's gone back to the Isle. I'm back.
This kid-focused sequel starts off with a stumble as Mal musically flirts with her wicked witchy ancestry. Thankfully, the balance of the musical moves in much more redemptive directions.
Sometimes it's hard to find yourself, but it's worth it in the end. 'Cause in your heart is where it all begins.
It sings out solid messages about grappling with insecurities, unconditional love, and learning to accept others. So I'm giving Descendants 2 a lilting 4 out of 5 for family friendliness. For the full review, visit us at pluggedin.com. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Cheryl Wilhelmy from Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
5, we'll take it. Stay with us. There's much more of CBN NewsWatch straight ahead. Actress and singer Selena Gomez is recovering following a kidney transplant to help her beat her battle with lupus. She made the announcement on Instagram earlier this week. She's seen holding hands with her donor, who is also an actress. Gomez says she is incredibly blessed by the transplant and said she needed it. Doctors diagnosed her with lupus in 2015. She took a break from her career to deal with the illness. Be sure to keep her in your prayers. Time now for your Friday Faithful, and here's the thought to ponder as you wrap the weekend, begin the weekend. Rest isn't a waste of time. It is essential to your physical health and your spiritual well-being. Be sure to take time to rest this weekend. Refresh, and you are sure to be able to handle all that lies ahead. With that word, make this a fabulous Friday, and be sure that you have a wonderful weekend. That will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about always at cbnnews.com. We'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that by reaching out on email at newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We would love to hear from you. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Be sure to have a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you right back here come Monday. Goodbye, and God bless everyone.